Dylan here. Yes, Tom Dillon, the lifetime liberal. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. The title of this rant is The Iran War is All About Profits, and it is skyrocketing. So the war lingers on. We have many armaments that need to be replaced. There's all kinds of manipulation of the stock market by Trump and all of his buddies. And we're going to get a defense budget that's going to be at least $500 billion more. And everyone's going to vote for it because they have to, at least supposedly what they say. And it's taking away from Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, Social Security, early childhood education, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we're not going to get anything out of it because all the big white people at the top are reaping all of the profits. And it doesn't make any difference how many people die as long as they make as much profit as possible. Let's go back to 1919, because let's just say we're going to look at it, how this war profiteering goes along. John Reed was an American journalist who went to Russia during the First World War I. He wrote a book called 10 Days That Shook the World. And he was big into this communist thing. So let's go to 1980 in the movie Reds, where Warren Beatty, Diane Keaton was in it also. Warren Beatty played John Reed. John Reed supposedly had come back to Portland. That's where he was from. He was from Portland, Oregon. And he met with all the nice white, let's just say corporatists that were there at the time. And they went up there and they said, John Reed, tell us all about this war. And he got up there and he stood up and he said, it's all about profit. And he sat down. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that was kind of the way it was. Just want to point out a quick thing here. You know, Oregon, like at that particular time, I believe they had statutes or laws or bylaws or whatever on the books that didn't want black people to come and live there. That's the way things were back then. Let's go up to 1960. Dwight D. Eisenhower is basically saying in his last speech to the nation that we have to worry about the military-industrial complex. And now, so basically from 1919 to 1960, we talked about war profits. Then he's talking about the military-industrial complex. Why is that? Because there's profits all over the place for them. Remember, the United States, the military has never passed an audit. So he said this in 1960 because he was gravely, gravely concerned about it. But let's go back to 1939. Basically, before the war started, obviously, Roosevelt was very, very concerned about it. Churchill was able to con him. I don't know if it was con him, but convince him to help him with Lend-Lease, where we would build armaments. We would lease them to England, etc. So we had a little bit of a head start by the time the World War I started, but then it went in full earnest. And I believe that we were making thousands of planes by 1945, and we were virtually making none by 1939, 1940. We were making thousands of tanks by the end of World War II, and we virtually had none. So within that time frame, let's just say from 1945, when all that ended, in 1960, when Eisenhower made his speech of the military-industrial complex. The armament manufacturers, let's just call them in the military, placed manufacturing centers for all of their different stuff in terms of supply chain, in terms of parts manufacturers, et cetera, all across the United States in all the different sections for all the different representatives. So they'd have to vote for a military bill because there was already an armament manufacturing plant within their district. And that's kind of how the military-industrial complex is run. And now it's gone to the zenith. It's gone to the nth degree. It's gone to the complete, this is what really happens when you're going to war. Is we've seen that Trump and his buddies have placed unbelievable bets on the price of oil and when things are going to happen in this war. And it's going to continue because as long as this war continues, there's going to be more and more profiteering. What I mentioned about putting armaments in every single district means that even today, many Democrats have to vote for the defense bill because there's some type of supply chain or manufacturing plant in their district. They also know that they would get someone else would go against them in the next congressional race if they didn't go for it. This has been going on for a long time. War profiteering. And of course, there's also been consolidation in the armaments manufacturing industry, so that only the 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know how many of countries are really, companies are really running it. And again, this is all for profits to rich white people. And this is going to continue under this administration, because he does not want to do any of the stuff that I just mentioned about Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, SNAP benefits, early childhood education, infrastructure reform. Let's deal with, how do we create new jobs? How do we do infrastructure? All that's going to be taken away from us, because the war needs to go on, because they need profits. And it will only end when we vote these people out and get new representatives in who are going to audit the military industrial complex and put money back to the people and not put it into the arms manufacturers.